Hey Don, I've gotten this SLB silent emitter probably back in 2018 or 2019, um, and it's very small and portable, and it works pretty well for playing the frequency silently. But the website that I bought it from is no longer up, and I don't even know who makes these or how they're made or how they even really work. I mean, I know you talked about them turning the frequency into a silent magnetic field that varies, just like the soda coils, I suppose. But like, who makes these and how do they make them? And is the field from this as strong as the soda coils or the fractal antenna or even those spooky two tens pads? But it does fit in here pretty well. Let's see. Obviously, I have the Boostaroo here. And if I play this frequency here, and I have my Bose speakers, and I take this auxiliary cord, connect it to my Bose speakers, picks it up pretty well. So yeah, I like the how small this is and how portable it is. I'd like to know, like, if anybody else makes these things or something like it, or if this was made specifically for Sound of Stars. Do you have any information on that, or who the person was, or how this type of device works, or how it's made, or what it's made out of, and how it might differ from soda coils or fractal antenna or what other different sound devices? Because this is just really easy to stick into my pocket and carry around me all day. And I work in retail, so I'm on my feet all day long, running up and down steps and lifting heavy boxes and moving around constantly. So this is really convenient for me. Whereas like the fractal antenna or the soda coils they're okay, but I feel like they limit my mobility a little bit. So yeah, I was just curious what your thoughts on that were. Thanks.
So that's an excellent question, Evan. Let me just give you some feedback. The device that you're talking about was likely something like this, just like a standard right-angled monojack male plug, 3.5 millimeter, that would have been converted. So part of this section would have been hollowed out, and then it would have had a component inserted into it. The original item that you're talking about was on this page. This was an older fellow who was a member of the SOS group for quite a long time, and he had his own interesting online store, and I think a local store. I believe he was based out of New Zealand, and he provided a number of different types of items. I don't know where he got his SLB from. I think he had it custom designed by one of his personal contacts. So I'll provide all the links that I'm going to be showing on the screen in the comment section of this video. There's quite a lot of data that's still on this page. You can access it through the Wayback Machine. So it gives kind of like a background, like a history of it. And then the pricing that he had set up, different kinds of silent delivery packages that he used to offer. And then basically tips and things. He did carry an item called the True Tester, which was like a kind of like a kinesiology type thing to just see how you might respond to frequencies, when you're trying to, like, say, pick something. That device is probably still available. There's different versions of it. Again, SOS does not tend to carry hardware, and this particular vendor, I think he's either retired or he's passed away. I haven't heard from him in years. But on the original page, he's got things like a schematic diagram on delivery and there's also like test and use case paperwork. So you can get this document here, and he was just testing magnetic field strength of the device, connected to the amp. But this is helpful because it just gives like background on the specs, procedures used, ceilings and thresholds, what you could expect for noise distortion, etc. Keep in mind that the Boostaroo has two different versions. One's at 2 to 400%. What we found was that the clean signal usually came at a certain threshold. But this is a document worth checking out and then just saving to your archive. And the original page that we had up that was talking about this was the silent emitter notes page, and it's an update as to kind of what happened there. And so I'll just send you the link for this as well. So there's the original archive page. Now we did find an item that was similar to this, and you can get that at this page here, and it's quite low cost. I don't know a lot about this group. I've reviewed them in the past. I think there's value in some of the theory, philosophy. They focus on things like tapping and traditional Chinese medicine. So there's, areas of their, philosophy and perspective that I really appreciate. And likely what's happening, if I were to guess, I'd say that the structure of this coil is probably very similar to what we saw with the SLB. Here's what I can tell you just about the nature of this device. It's fairly simplistic. Basically inside the casing, what you have, this little circle here is a special ceramic cylinder, and then within that ceramic cylinder is a fine, very thin copper wound coil. So all that's basically happening is that the audio output from the device is going into the coil, and it's being broadcast through that. This ceramic is piezoelectric in nature, and so you're going to get a signal out of that coil that has a low power threshold. And even when we take a look at the SLB specs, it is significant. So you do want to have a certain max power ceiling. You don't want to pump too much power into that type of device, and this is going to apply either for the original SLB, which you have, and I'm going to guess for this one. These are probably pretty much the same type of device. Because the copper wire, the gauge of the wire is so thin and tiny, that you're going to have a low power ceiling. So you don't want to drive too much power through it because you could basically burn it out. But it's a $25 unit. It's fairly inexpensive. They sell this as a device to use with their own kind of audio type treatments. Certainly it would work with Sound of Stars frequencies, SOS. So that's basically it. Now keep in mind that even though the power output is low, the effect is still significant due to the FFR, frequency following response. So if you have the item, close to your body, and the power output is at a low ceiling, you're still going to pick up enough of the signal generally because of the frequency following response. Now, in his notes, he talks about range, and the range is increased with the use of the with the use of the Boostaroo. But I think he makes a comment in here that the distance of the effect is quite high, and I don't think that's accurate. I think that the most that you could hope for effective distance would be probably a couple of feet, even if you've got the Boostaroo turned to max. I mean, the magnetic field strength will fall off, to the inverse square principle, so the magnetic field isn't going to travel very far. But again, if you've got it against the body, it's fine. And then the other part of the signal, it's still not, it's also going to be, it's going to be basically governed by this same inverse square law. So it's still not going to travel that far. Yeah, so I hope that helps. And like I say, in the YouTube video that you're watching, just check the comment section for the links. So I hope that helps.